Hello and welcome to Metaphor ReFantazio. If you don't know what metaphor is, it's a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable, but it is also the newest game from the Persona 5 director, and this is effectively their next big game after Persona 5, which, you know, has a lot of weight to it. However, it also looks like an evolution of the formula. There's a twist on the combat system. It's a completely new fantasy world, and it seems very, very intriguing, especially because I have watched the opening cutscene, which I'm about to play for you here before I click new game, and it definitely doesn't mess around. It gets right to the heart of the action, and, well, let's just show you it.
I trust this will suffice.
God smiles upon the generous.
Oh, away with you! Back to your cesspit, beggar! A land grotesque as its people. You dreamt of utopia. You saw the tribes united as one.
Oh.
That dream died long ago. You should have done the same. Your kingdom will perish alongside you. By my hand.
I cannot fathom it. His Majesty killed in his own bed.
The blooms upon the prince's grave had yet to wilt. Without an heir to wear the crown, what will become of the royal magic?
Thus vulnerable, an invasion might undo us.
From within or without, the state hangs on a precipice. It may even come to civil war.
In dark times, we must stand together.
Your Eminence!
Who could do this?
Few could even enter the king's chambers, let alone draw close. And yet
His Majesty's arcane power could deflect near any blade. With all the royal bloodline's magic, who could harm him at all?
shadows stir in the castle just as they did with the prince. What hellbound soul could end a royal life? Who would dare such atrocity? Huh?
Luis.
A shame to die with no heirs. The prince was taken too soon. And only a king may wield the royal scepter, the very crux of his vaunted bloodline's magic, which made such a fine deterrent to war. One has to ask, them dead, who shall take the throne?
So, the king is dead, and there appears to be some political maneuverings around it. But, let's click the new game button and see exactly how we fit into the whole political maneuverings.
Who's there? I can feel you watching me from a place beyond my sight. Whoever you are, please tell me. Does our world pique your interest? Pardon my curiosity, but would you tell me your name? That is to say, tell me who you really are. The one who meets my eyes across a strange threshold.
Okay, so I have been told about this one thing. So, it will ask you to name yourself twice. Once, it will ask you to do this, which is to name the person guiding the protagonist. So, I mean, that's going to be us, right? So, I guess it should be the channel name. It just makes sense. That's what we're going to call this, and then we're going to have to come up with a name for the protagonist later. Okay? I'm happy with the entry. Confirm. Your name is indeed Alpax. You will name the protagonist later. Sounds good to me.
Ah, a most unusual name. One I've never heard in our world. Which suggests to me you might reside in a world beyond ours.
What's interesting here is it's one that he's never heard in his world. So this implies that whoever the scheming man is, he has a consciousness beyond his own world. He is able to perceive and interact with worlds that are not his own. Okay.
It is a curious thing that in your eyes, my entire world is but the dawn of a story yet untold. Or to put it another way, this is a fantasy. But can it truly be dismissed as something so far removed from you? If indeed you wish to cross to our world for a time, I would first ask that you indulge one question. Is fantasy limited to the confines of imagination? Would you call it a powerless creation?
Is fantasy limited to the confines of imagination? Well, if you think about it another way, fantasy could be a dream, it could be an idea. Fantasy is, if it's an imagination, is simply something that does not exist in your world. But could it have an impact upon your world? Potentially, right? If somebody has a dream, if somebody has an idea, if somebody has a goal, it is a fantasy until it is real. So, in a way, it has power, right? It's something that drives people. It has motivation. Even if you assume that this game, a fantasy world, is simply the game, people playing the game may be inspired in all sorts of ways, which would mean that the creation is not powerless. So, I have to say, not always.
More than wishful thinking, more than fiction. Something capable of affecting the realities beyond its bounds. This must be what you believe. I confess, my own answer still eludes me. But consider, if fantasy is born from hope, a desire to make the world better than it is, then that hope can be made manifest. Thus does change come, and thus is fantasy forged into a new reality. Perhaps the story about to unfold before you will tell us. I'm thoroughly invested now myself, so let this tale begin.
Okay, now we have to choose our difficulty. So, we're going to be playing on hard. Why are we going to be playing on hard? Because Regicide is locked until New Game Plus, I believe, from what I've read. So, yeah, we can't take this one. So we'll play on hard. Hard it is. Are you ready? Very. I am very ready.
Looks like we're in the clear. The capital's just through this desert.
Is it true then? The king is dead? Aye, and the guards are more concerned with the funeral than keeping the roads safe. So now the monsters are roaming in broad daylight. No soldiers to stop them.
Monsters, huh? I've certainly been hearing the stories.
To say nothing of the vacant throne. There's a storm coming. Mark my words. That much is certain.
What's the problem?
They're bandits!
Come on, let's see some respect for the militia! Us folk, we're commoners. No crown or church will save us.
But Lord Luis will save us one and all. All we ask is a little tribute. You're with us or against us? And if you're against us...
An igniter? How'd they get one of those?
Come on! Hey, keep it moving! Hurry it up! Next one! Huh? Look at you! What have we got here? He's an elder! So he is. No horns, no knifes. Filthy gremlin like you. What you got in the capital? Oh, what's this? Looks like you've been holding out on us, boy. Hold it!
Oh!
Should have listened to us, chum. Now fall in line! Unless you want to get stuck like us.
You drew steel. I take it you are prepared to die by it.
Stand aside!
Ooh. That looked like that hurt. Okay. I have many questions.
Ugh, this place already feels like a death trap. You hear all that stuff about Lord Luis saving us?
I did, but my many questions start with Gallica here. Why was she why were we pushing her further into the back? It seemed like she should be hiding, but it quite clearly seemed like if she was hiding, she was doing a very bad job at it. Everybody would have noticed her. Except I guess only the elven-looking one was looking at us, so maybe they just weren't saying anything. Or maybe there's another reason, maybe we're the only people who can see her? I'm not entirely sure yet. The other one is, the elven-looking lady definitely seemed like they could handle themselves, and definitely seemed like they could handle the bandits. But were keeping quiet up until the point that they started killing people. Okay. There's a lot of unanswered questions. Now, there is a memorandum button. I'm going to press it. And if this is lore, we're going to read an awful lot of lore. Oh, it is lore. Okay. Magic igniters? So yeah, it seemed like igniters must be a little bit rare because there was definitely some surprise around them having one. Magic igniters, a tool that acts as a conduit for magic power, without which people cannot perform magic. To own or use them, one must obtain a permit from the kingdom by passing a test, with some exceptions such as those serving in the state army. Igniters can be costly depending on power and specifications, and purchasing them is akin to buying land or housing. Okay, so to me that seems like a very expensive thing to have to just rob people as they come into town. Like, that seems like if you have it, you're already doing pretty well for yourself. Okay, so the implications I would see were that they fall into one of three categories. One, they were previously members of a state army, or current members of a state army under another name. Two, they were doing it for another purpose, as in they were, they're not just randomly going after people, they're looking for someone in particular, potentially. Or three, they stole the igniter from somebody else, which I guess could be very valid. Gauntlet Runner. Often called runners as shorthand, a general term for magic-powered semi-automated vehicles designed for traversing the wastelands and either overcoming or circumventing local wildlife threats and magical phenomena. Traveling the wilds on foot or even in a lightly armored carriage has historically been incredibly dangerous, making any long-distance trips a life-threatening risk. Okay, so there are a lot of these gauntlet runners because if you're on foot or in a carriage, it's incredibly dangerous. Okay, although our main danger was the gauntlet runner and the people on top of it, but anyway. Then culture. Sanctism. A monotheistic religion devoted to the worship of the one God, the Almighty, the religion of majority across the United Kingdoms. Its sanctors preach that uttering the prayer Closuri with one's whole heart will reach God, bringing salvation. It is the state religion, and the sanctist hierarchy is deeply intertwined with the kingdom's politics. Currently, the crown theocracy is at the heart of the kingdom's political affairs. Okay, so there is a one true God, and there is a theocracy who is plotting in political affairs. Very interesting. Well, I don't think we have anything else, so back to the story. Also, we've got a percentage completion at the top. That is that is very addicting to me. I will be definitely looking for everything. Carry on.
Hey, you okay? You still got all your limbs attached? Well, at least they didn't figure out our mission. Definitely could have gone worse.
What mission?
What mission?
Come on! This is no time for jokes. You do know that if anyone finds out who we really are, it's all over, right? The mission's more important than either of our lives. If we screw this up, there's no going back.
Okay, more important than either of our lives? And we can't go back if we screw it up?
Think we'll make it?
So, no pressure then. You don't look hurt though, so that's good news. You can move, right? I'm thinking we should find a place where we can see the whole area. Basic controls. Use the movement keys to move. Hold right trigger while moving to dash. Press B to dodge enemy attacks. Okay, makes sense to me. Some actions you can perform and their corresponding controls are displayed at the bottom of the screen, which you can also use the minimap to see which way to go. You can view tutorials you've seen before in the main menu. Wonderful.
Let's go.
Ooh, new memorandum. So if I press this at any point, does it work? Oh, I've pressed down on this screen. I see. So we have Gallica here. Well, let's find out more about her. A fairy who accompanies traveling boy on his journey, doubling as his chaperone for his special mission. Her diminutive size excludes her from participating physically in battles, but her special fairy traits allow her more proficiency than traveling boy when it comes to sensing magla and knowing magic. Though she can become heated when her personal values are tested, she is a reassuring travel companion. Okay. Can I have a look at our map here? So we're going all the way down to the bottom right. But what happens if we don't do that? So that's where we came from, up there.
Stop!
Wait, I'm sensing something close. Don't move.
Watch out!
Yeah, those look especially dangerous, so watch out. I don't think they've noticed us yet, though. Face Sight. Press left trigger to use Face Sight. This ability lets you see what Gallica senses in the environment. When you see an enemy you've never confronted before, it will show up as unknown. Prepare as best you can.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay. Interesting.
Strong ones ahead. We gotta be careful.
Don't even know what level these guys
They
are.
look pretty tough. Careful now.
Okay. Let's do some running around the edge here. Wonder if there is anything to find. What? Oh, so those mean that there's an enemy. The little bits of dust. Turn off face sight for a second here. We got that guy who looks incredibly dangerous. Whoa! Okay. Keep running. Keep running. So we got some hyenas over there. Or something equivalent. Okay. I get the feeling that we're not meant to fight right now, or it would have given us a tutorial on how to fight. So I'm going to move on for now.
Look! Just checking, but you do remember what we're here to do, right?
I have no idea. Refresh my memory.
Right. What am I doing again?
Oh, I don't know. The mission that's more important than our own lives? First, we get to the royal capital and get you enlisted as a guardsman at the army's recruitment center. This could decide the fate of the whole country. We either do our jobs or we die. And if it's all the same to you, I'd rather stay alive. So we've got to see this mission through. Come on. We don't want the sun to go down on us in the wastes. Let's pull ourselves together and get back on the road. You know what they say. Anxiety breeds the world's cruelest monsters. I mean, fairies say that at least. I can at least cast my usual spell for you. It's the small comforts, right?
Right.
It's as though music is playing directly in my mind. The effect of Gallica's magic is inspiring.
Music was the first magic this world ever knew, after all. Makes the road a little easier.
Okay. Cool.
Look.
I've got to say, joining up as a royal guardsman doesn't initially seem like a task which is going to, change the world and mean that we'll die if we don't do it, but we'll see where it goes.
Over there.
That's the road, isn't it? What a relief. Grand Trad is already in sight.
Let's go.
Almost there. Let's keep moving and try to stay out of sight.
Got a sec?
We do have some more stuff in our memorandum. Alright. Music and magic. An unusual variety of magic that caused the listener to become aware of their state of mind through the form of sound and music. It is a modest form of magic with seemingly no utility on the battlefield. It is considered a meaningless, trifling skill in society and thus rarely used. Magic? A general term for the technique that consumes power to cause phenomena that bend the laws of nature. It has a wide range of applications from modest use in daily life to destructive power in war. However, as magic igniters which require a state permit for ownership and use are required for people to be able to use magic, many cannot wield magic. Okay. So it does say modest use in daily life, so it might not be that impossible to get as we previously implied. Or it didn't imply it was impossible, it implied it was equivalent to housing. But it may be something that just a fairly well-off person might be able to get. You might not have to be super rich. Okay. And nothing else. Alright. This is very cool. Let's have a look at the map. It wants us to go over here currently. We also haven't been given anything about combat yet, so I'm gonna just wander our way along here and see if we can make it. Assuming that we don't want to fight these guys. Maybe I'm wrong. There does seem to be a lot of them. Okay. Ooh, something blue. Let's see if we can pick it up.
I don't like this.
Medicinal herb. Okay.
That should come in handy.
And
Pocket it.
medicinal herb. Okay. We got a few things here. How big is this area? It seemed that big. Okay. Well, we'll keep making our way towards Grand Trad for now. We'll see what else appears in the future. Uh-oh, this is bad.
Not good! Run for it!
This land of 8 tribes and 3 nations, all blessed by the power of magic. The United Kingdom of Uchronia. The year is 785. Uchronia is shaken to the core by the sudden death of its king. Anxiety breeds dissent among the tribes. Disparities tear them apart, and no mortal mind remembers the heroic tales upon which their land was built. By this story of fantasy, may this faded world be painted anew.
O great seeker, bearer of fantasy empowered. Hear my wish and come forth from thy epoch of glory to grant me thy... It disappeared.
Whoa, just look!
Whoa.
Get on with it, then! Drop the dog! Hang him dead! Please! I've done nothing wrong! Lying dog! Don't try to deny it! You trample the law for the fun of it!
Let it be known, for misuse of an igniter, you will hang by the neck until dead!
Yeah!
There's no way that crowd was going to listen to anything a Paribus said.
Such a shame. Might you spare some coin? Bless you. Oh,
careful!
Hurry!
Don't you have any street smarts? Come on, kid! Look, we're not tourists here. We gotta stay focused.
Right.
You noticed back on the wagon? You might be the only Elder here, in the whole city even. The capital's incredible. Just look at all the different tribes. You never see this kind of diversity out in the countryside.
It's also interesting to know that we might be the only one of our kind here. It definitely would seem quite rare if this is the capital. Anyway.
Not that it's very balanced. I see more Clamars and Roussants than anyone else. Which means a dopey Elder kid's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Try to keep your head down, okay?
We could get like a little beanie hat like Spock had when they went back in time. Hide our ears, pretend to be an elf.
Hey, did you hear what they're saying about His Majesty? They say it wasn't illness at all. I heard it was foul play, assassination.
Shh, careful who hears you say that.
But it's just like the prince, isn't it? They say he was attacked in the dead of night. A war of succession is coming, I tell you.
Sounds like monsters have been prowling the countryside. They're sending the guard out to deal with them. The army's really gone to hell. It's a far cry from when we had Count Luis at the helm, I'll tell you that much.
Hard to see how the nation can come back from this.
We'd not have to ask if the prince was still alive.
Who?
The king dead. His son stricken. Are there none left to bear the weight of the crown?
We've done all in our power, but not even the kingdom's best. The saint could purify this affliction.
Over 10 years he has languished under this curse. How much longer can his body hold out? No doubt His Highness would protest. But since he cannot, we have no choice. For the man who cursed His Highness and murdered our king, there can be no mercy. I never thought I would have to ask this of you. But there are so few of us left now. There is no one else to turn to. Will you infiltrate the military to deliver a message to our contact there? This is your mission. For all our sakes, you cannot fail.
Huh. Okay. So that is why we have to join the military. And that is where the prince is, I believe. Is that what we're saying here? Double check. Under 10 years he's anguished under... Yeah, the king dead, his son stricken, so this would be the prince, yes. Huh. Okay then.
Hey, are you listening? Well, I guess I can't blame you for feeling nostalgic. You and the prince were pretty close. Anyway, getting to the capital was only the beginning. Now comes the real high-stakes part. You gotta go get enlisted so you can meet up with our operative. Remember, nobody here knows who we are. Nobody here knows the prince might still have a claim to the throne. That means if we get busted, that's it. Nobody's gonna save us. Step 1. Let's figure out where the recruitment center is. Shouldn't be too hard, considering the need for soldiers.
Okay.
So?
Do you know where we're going? Feel free to admit that you're lost and ask me for advice. What to know in town? Press the button to open the map. To open the map, if you're unsure of what to do, try pressing Y. Gallica always has good ideas, or so she thinks. Press up to save.
Whatever will
Okay.
I do?
We have saved the game. Fantastic. We have a new memorandum. I imagine that we have quite a few new memorandums. So, if the prince has been under a 10-year curse, I wonder what the common person thinks of the prince. Do they know that they're still around, or do they assume that the prince is dead? I don't know. Oh, we have many things. Well, let's start with the prince then. The son and heir to the throne of King Hythlodaeus V. More than 10 years ago, a mysterious attack in the royal palace left him afflicted with a deadly curse. The curse took its toll on his body, and though he bravely endured treatment, his recovery was interrupted several years later when he and his closest aide suddenly vanished from the castle, without a trace. The king exhausted all possible means to find him, but was ultimately unsuccessful. He was formally declared deceased 3 years ago, and a royal funeral was held in his honour. So we know that the prince is still under the curse, and we know that the prince has a claim. However, it would seem that to everyone else, the prince is indeed dead, although he only went missing. Okay. What's next? We got something else here? The Kingdom of Uchronia. Let's start with that. A union of allied kingdoms spans the Kingdom of Uchronia, the Principality of Oceania, the Principality of Ontario, Uchronia being the suzerain, with its king holding authority over all three kingdoms. The original king, Hythlodaeus, was the United Nations' first ruler, and is often referred to as the Founder King. The royal capital, Grand Trad. The nation's largest capital city, capital of both the Kingdom of Uchronia and the United Kingdoms at large, also referred to as the royal capital, being home of the palace and the seat of the royal bloodline. Known for its solid ramparts, a site which has long been emblematic of the city itself. However, when the massive Regillith Grand Cathedral was built, the building's grandeur became the new symbol of Grand Trad. Okay, so it used to be that the capital was known for its ramparts. However, it is now that the capital is known for something relating to the church. That's an interesting path forward. Alright, well, let's find out about us. What is an elder? The 9th tribe, distinct from the commonly known 8 tribes. Okay, so we weren't even included in the omnipotent and kind of narrator's description of the 3 kingdoms. We are a 9th tribe. They are condemned by the Sanctus Church for inheriting a dangerous magic heretical to the teachings of the church. Okay, so immediately I see that we inherited a dangerous magic. Does this mean we don't need an igniter? Is that our twist? Also, if we are condemned by the church, is everybody not going to be, extremely against us, given the level that the church has here? The level of power, the level of prestige the church has here? Like, this entire city is known for the cathedral, and we are condemned by it. Okay. The population is so small that to even see one in public is rare, and they face greater discrimination than any other tribe. Well, that makes sense. In fact, many outside the main cities don't believe they exist. Okay. Although it does say 1 of 2. Wait, there's multiple pages. Oh no. Each of the 8 tribes possess unique physical traits, making them recognizable at a glance, such as the Clemmer's horns or the Rusaint's long ears. The Elder tribe, however, bears no such distinguishing features and thus are regarded as inferior beings. Okay. Let me just double check some things here. Magic 1 page. Are we at 3 pages of magic igniters? The expense is so great, buying more than one igniter would be difficult even with the entire lifetime income of the average commoner. In order to prevent accidents and crime, the Crown Theocracy and the Magic Association have exclusive production rights of igniters. Unauthorized production is considered a serious offense. The time needed to cast magic depends on the user's skill, but can also be slightly impacted by the capabilities of the igniter itself. While using an igniter while sedentary poses little problem, activating igniter while moving is difficult and is thus advised to use them cautiously. So this one gives us an idea of the cost, right? Because it says buying more than a lifetime would be difficult for the average. So I guess it does fit like buying a house as it described previously. An average person may be able to get 1 during their lifetime, but to get 2, you're going to have to, you know, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's not going to be very straightforward for the average person. Gauntlet runners. However, as cities and countries grew, so did the demand for resources, many of which required transport in large quantities. The Gauntlet Runners filled the niche of an armed, sturdy vehicle that could help with transport and land development. There are smaller runners roughly the size of an armed carriage with a simple deck addition, but it's more common to see models that walk on legs with internal living areas comparable to a modest house. Legs are more common in their design than wheels, partially because of their versatility in all manners of difficult terrain, but more so because adopting the remains and skeletons of large monsters is more cost effective and stronger than artificially creating all the components necessary. Okay, makes sense. Music and magic, that only had 1. Kingdom of Uchronia did have more. The continent is surrounded by fast-running currents, and ships can only set anchor from the southern inland sea, where the otherwise swift currents are less violent. As a result, there have been few invasions from overseas, and the 3 countries have achieved long histories. The capital of the kingdom is Grand Trad, the largest city in the kingdom, located in north-central Uchronia. Most widespread religion is Sanctism, established as a state religion under the reign of the most recent monarch, King Hythlodius V. Okay, so before this current king, we would have been more accepted because the Elder have been condemned by the church, but if the church was not the state religion, then that's not necessarily as bad, even if it was a well-spread religion. Okay. Right. Royal capital. Done everything there. No, we've done Elder. Culture. Nothing there. I think I accidentally clicked into the Tlemar tribe. That's okay. Nothing for Gallica here. The Tlemar tribe. The Tlemar tribe composes the largest population in all the allied kingdoms. Their most distinctive features are the horns which grow on both sides of their head. Tlemars have a broad diversity of facial and body types, which has essentially made them average. The Uchronian royal family are Tlemar, and members of this tribe hold a majority of the important positions within the government, leading many Tlemars to internalize the belief that they are the kingdom's most preeminent tribe. Tlemars value freedom and dislike illogical restraint. They enjoy cultivating discussion, but do not always consider the situation or appropriateness of doing so, which occasionally leads to conflict. However, some studies suggest this disposition is what drives them to seek governmental positions and other important offices. Okay. So the distinctive features are horns which grow on both sides of their head. Now, I bring this up because the Tlemar the members of the royal family are Tlemar. Did the prince have horns? It's difficult to tell from this picture, but maybe? Yeah, actually I think I can see some horns on the side. I didn't initially notice them, but I just want to double check. The Rusant tribe. One of the most populous tribes of the United Kingdoms, second only to the Tlemar. Long pointed ears are their most distinguishing feature. They often boast excellent physiques, which has given them superior martial prowess. Rusant women are stronger than most men of other tribes. Many inevitably work in the military and often hold key offices. They are considered as influential as the Tlemar, and the 2 tribes are sometimes called prevailing tribes. Many Rusant pride themselves on outperforming others in strength. While this can be perceived as self-disciplined competitiveness, on the flip side there are many with an belligerent temperament, obsessed with proving superiority in any situation. And then the Parapus tribe. A tribe recognized by bestial ears and a tail, there are many variations in their hair and skin colors, including cold-colored skin not seen in other tribes. They are physically adept and often honest with their emotions, giving them a reputation for hedonism, for better or for worse. They are drawn to parties and festivities, and while this happy-go-lucky charm is often to their credit, it can also be seen as recklessness. Due to this stereotype, they are looked down upon by the other tribes, which prevents them from securing a foothold in politics, despite being nearly as populous as the Rusant and Lemur tribes. The discrimination against them is especially obvious in large cities. Okay. I'm trying to internalize the different tribes. We will no doubt have it down by the end of this playthrough. So how big is this area?
Alright then.
Okay. It's pretty big. We've got a couple different places we can go. One looks like a tavern. One looks like a shield. And one looks like maybe a bracelet. So maybe that's accessory shop, armory, and tavern. Okay. We're going to head back this way. Also, I'm going to stop running. Okay. So what happens if I want to go this way?
Hey!
Up ahead is Sunshade Row. Is where we saw the gallows and those beggars. Let's not go there without good reason. Fair enough. Let's not go there. What else have we got here? Hello there.
Stop!
May I ask you to step away from the accumulator? That goes double for one of your tribe. Accumulator? Looks like you don't know anything. How pathetic.
What do you think you're playing at?
If you have no business here, then be gone. You're getting in the way of my work. Okay.
That's terribly unfair.
Hello.
But what is there to do now?
That was no ordinary animal. There were traces of something gargantuan crawling about after all. So many rumors concerning monsters in the wasteland. Why, it's all you hear about these days.
That's not what I expected.
True, but I read about them in Julian's book. It claims there aren't any near the royal capital yet.
That's terribly unfair.
Okay, this looks like another type of, yeah, another tribe we haven't seen before. One with wings. Okay, guess we'll find out about them later. I was just very caught off guard by this guy's coat, but we will move on. You've got some murmurs going on here. Here we are, Grand Trad. Frankly, I don't have good things to say about for the Parapus, or to say for how the Parapus are treated here. We know. We don't need you telling us. We got attacked by a monster in our hometown. We had no choice but to come here. Regardless of how we're treated here, we gotta make it work. Okay, so monsters are driving people from the countryside into the safety of the city. Okay. What happens if I want to leave? Can I leave?
Wait!
Are you sure you want to go back to the desert? It's dangerous outside the city, and it's away from the recruitment center where we're supposed to be going. No, I didn't want to do that. That's a silly thing. Hello. Elder, you walked all the way here? Don't tell me you ran into some trouble, huh? Oh, hold on. Probably kicked out the carriage, were you? My sympathies. That's being Elder for you, I suppose. Okay, well, they know who we are. It's fine. Just trying to see what else is going on. I am a little overwhelmed by the amount of stuff in this world. It is very cool, though. Very, very cool. Okay. Oh, we've already seen those people talking. Nobody at the cafe seems like they want to talk to us. How about these two? Hello. You have to believe me, I saw it with my own two eyes. A monster was attacking a town and... Come now, if any of that were true, the army would have simply been dispatched. Enough of your daft stories.
That's terribly unfair.
You probably just got spooked by a wild dog and mistook it for a monster. A normal man would have just moved on, yet here you are, harping on about it. Okay. Well, we'll keep moving on. Wait, can we go in here? I assume the answer is no. Let's see. Seriously, a tavern? Let's not put food before the mission. We can always come back here later. This is the Dal Filoni Tavern. Okay. Cool. Well, Oh, I was going to say it looks like we've got everyone we need to speak to, but actually we got some things happening over here.
Oh God.
Alright. Church Crier. The royal funeral for His Majesty the King will be held at the Grand Cathedral. Naturally, His Eminence, Forden, will be there in attendance as well. You may gather at the Grand Cathedral on the day of the event.
Oh God. Grant
Okay.
me guidance.
Oh?
Look at that. The new model's out now. I could be out there slinging spells like a master if I had one of those.
I guess that's the big city for you. Everyone and their mother has a magic igniter. So many different types, too.
What's a magic igniter?
What's a magic igniter?
See, there's a couple in the window. Like an instrument plays a tune, an igniter casts magic. Pretty hard to come by out in the countryside. Can't imagine what it's like having to wave around some shiny stick to use magic. Me? I can whip out magic anytime I like. And I can even see the magla in the air. Though, I'm not exactly an archmage.
Wonders never cease. A fairy and an elden child. Are you new to our fair city?
We are. And you seem like you could be part of a different tribe.
Well, I suggest you keep a low profile. Trust me when I say you don't want to catch the eyes of the lords and ladies. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I run this humble shop. Are you in the market for an igniter? Here's something that might catch a foreigner's eye. This is modeled after the royal scepter and would make the perfect souvenir.
The royal scepter?
The royal scepter?
You've really never heard of it. Wow. Where do I even start?
A symbol and instrument of the crown's sovereignty. Passed down through generations. If you believe the legends, it houses incredible magic. World-shattering power. More practically, you might call it the world's most potent magic igniter. And in the king's hands, it was enough of a deterrent to stave off invasion.
Now he's dead. With no living heir either.
Tragic, isn't it? Kingly magic is of little use without a king.
Okay. Well, we have 100% confirmation that other people can see Gallica because, well, she has directly responded to what Gallica said.
You picked a bad time to visit, boy. I don't know why you're here, but there's trouble brewing.
Although I guess she could have just been speaking to herself anyway. Yeah, nobody has mentioned our fairy above our shoulder. And I haven't seen another fairy. It does kind of imply that maybe not everyone can see her as we can. Anyway, I'll keep that in mind.
I'll keep that in mind.
A word of caution then. Your survival is your own responsibility.
Okay.
Well, that was unnecessarily ominous. She has a point, though. We'll need to be careful. Anyway, we don't have time to hang around chatting with the locals. We've got a recruitment office to find.
Also, it seems like we know a lot less about the world than Gallica does.
Let's
Okay.
head there.
Memorandum, of course. Let's have a little bit more memorandum time. Ooh. Also, that was not a new tribe, so that must have been a Roussant, potentially. Hidden underneath the hair. Magla. A technical term for magic power that serves as a basis for magic. There are varying amounts in all things found in nature, including people, plants, and animals. Because magla sometimes crystallizes in areas of high concentration, some scholars theorize that magla may be physical particles too small to be seen with the naked eye. Okay. Royal Scepter. An ornate cane-like scepter passed down through generations of the Ukrainian royal family, proof of their right to rule. A magic instrument of extraordinary capabilities, powerful enough to induce natural disasters. It can only be wielded by the king, and popularly termed royal magic. It commands, serves both as. Let me try that again. It can only be wielded by the king, and the popularity termed royal magic it commands serves both as a pillar of the king's authority and a deterrent to war. I was trying to make commands and serves the same thing, but there was obviously a pause. Consequently, any king of Uchronia must be well versed in magic, and the boon of royal lineage is not enough to ensure succession to the throne. Historically, there have been many cases where an offshoot member of a prince's family has become king, when the bloodline's most direct inheritor was not judged to have enough magical aptitude to truly wield the royal scepter. Okay. Interesting. And then the royal magic. A powerful magic passed down through generations of Uchronian kings, invoked through a unique magic igniter called the Royal Scepter. It has tremendous power that can bring about anything the king desires. There are several records of its use in the long history of the kingdom, be it for revolutionary or oppressive aims, but each is described as a cataclysmic disaster. It continues to represent a strong deterrent to the royal family and the kingdom. Okay. Hello.
You little bastard, you.
Imbecile of a driver. How long will this take? I can't help but notice we passed the recruitment center back there. I bet I could register for the army faster than this carriage can exit the city, so hurry it up before I put a bounty on your horse's head.
If I may.
Now, sir, please have patience. With the royal funeral approaching, foot traffic is at an all-time high. Okay, so that was the, so this is the igniter shop that we've got here. Okay. And then, over this way, we had the church that we went to. And then we should have the armory shop on this side. So, oh, this isn't the armory shop, this is the church. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. So that's the symbol of the church we were seeing. Okay, cool. Well, let us save, and then progress to the next area. Let's go.
Leave it out, mate.
I was hoping that we'd blend in with the crowd and no one would notice that you're an elder, but the people here have sharper eyes than I thought. We don't want to draw attention, but hiding your tribe is only going to make it worse. People may insult you, but do your best to stand tall.
Right.
Easier said than done, I'm sure. It's for the sake of the mission. And on that note, the recruitment center we're looking for should be just ahead. Oh, new memorandum? On recruitment center. A center located in every city for people to apply to join the army. For those without family or means, volunteering is one of the quickest ways to earn money and social credibility. Recruitment is not always open, but concerns about public safety due to the sudden death of the king as well as monster outbreaks in the area has led to an unusually long recruitment period in the royal capital. Then Forden. Aestivum Forden, the 78th Sanctifex of the Sanctus Church, the state religion of the United Kingdom. He holds the highest authority within Sanctism, and as such is the leader of the Crown Theocracy. Despite hailing from the rogue tribe rather than the more common Clemar or Rusant tribes, he enjoys a broad base of support. In the turmoil following the sudden death of the previous king, many view him as something as an interim king, given his position as the leader of the moderate faction. Okay, the rogue tribe we don't know anything about yet, but okay. Just looking for people to speak to. Oh, turn off the dash stuff. Hello.
Really now?
Recruitment center. What, you want to enlist or something? It's just down this road if that's the case. An elder enlisting, bloody hell, what's next? Wouldn't want to be in such a sorry state if Louis was in power. Mouth on this guy. We weren't focused on saving the prince. I'd give him a piece of my mind, but let's just grin and bear it.
What are you playing at?
Okay. Hello?
You there?
Young man, might I interest you in our shop's wares? This is no ordinary Ostari shop.
Hey, sorry.
Uh-oh, we're actually in the middle of something. We gotta, something to do at the recruitment center. A recruitment center? If you're lost, it's a large building down the street and to the left. Stop by when you have time.
Bye-bye now.
I do business here all the time, so if you're in the area, do stop by. Okay. Let's head over here.
I'm out of ideas.
Hello.
Hiya.
I heard that Katharina caught another huge bounty. Yeah, even the army couldn't pin down its location, so we were at a loss about what to do. The Powerbus have a nose for these things, eh? She's putting the rest of us to shame.
I'm out of ideas.
Okay.
Alright then.
So recruitment center is that building that we just walked past, so let's completely ignore it. It's not the way to recruitment center? Yeah, you know what? Being silly, let's go to the recruitment center. Except we're gonna go over here first.
Oh, there!
When I heard His Majesty had been killed, I could hardly believe my ears. That he was a man indifferent to festivities, his death will not cause any disruptions. As long as we have His Eminence Sanctifex Forden, this country will be safe. Okay. Oh, we got some mumbles. Rumor has it Forden will become the next king, but the decision is a ways off yet. It's the duty of all Ishkaya to guide the ignorant masses. Okay. Is that the name of their tribe?
My wits have left
I
me.
agree, there's no future more dismal than having a rogue as a ruler. That would be their tribe then. So the Ishkaya hate the rogue, or dislike the rogue, or there's discrimination?
That's wrong, though.
There seems to be a lot of discrimination. Also, that is an outfit and a half. That is bold. Anyway, recruitment center is where we're going. Let's head in here.
That must be the recruitment center. I'll let you take it from here. It should be pretty straightforward. Oh, and if they start asking questions, just be as honest as you can. Lying will only make us more suspicious. So long as you don't compromise the mission, you're fine. Good luck in there. Knock 'em dead.
Got it. Go in there, knock him dead. It'll work.
Okay, you got this.
A blue blood, are you? The army's no place for velvet-swaddled lordlings. Why are you here?
Okay. That guy has a very distinctive face.
Perhaps your noble family collapsed under its own weight. Is that it?
Lineage seems a strange measure for a soldier's worth. I'm looking to enlist. Is that enough for you or not?
An uppity one, aren't you? Fine, lordling. Welcome to the Guard, where it'll be your privilege to die screaming and bloody in service of your country. But mark my words, war will turn your arrogance to piss. When your corpse is plucked from the mud, do try to look patriotic.
Rousing words, Captain. You think threats will buy loyalty? No wonder nobody respects the Guard anymore. But I'm here now, so perhaps the kingdom isn't a lost cause.
Insolent pup! You will learn your place.
Don't. The healers have enough on their plates already.
Be gone, and be thankful you're still in one piece. All right, next. Hurry it up. An elder? I thought your kind was long gone. Age 18. An orphan, too. The army can always use more of those.
What a thing to say! Basically, it's like, you have no connections to family. Well, we can overwork you, and then if you die, nobody will care. It's like, oh, well, thanks. Appreciate it.
So, what brings you to enlist?
I want to fight for change. I need the money, or I'm just so bored. Well, what do we want to do? We were told to be honest. We don't really need the money, from what we know. We're not really bored, so I guess we're fighting for change.
I want to fight for real change.
Lofty words for a gutter rat with an empty coin purse, no? So, what can you bring to our beloved corps? Any skills to speak of?
I'm stronger than I look. I've got a sharp mind. I can take a lot of punishment. I'm small but quick. Or I've always been lucky. Interesting. So I wonder whether this actually has any impact upon the game, because there are a lot of choices. Okay. What do we think we're going to say here? I think that what we're going to say is... Well, no, that's a lie. We don't have a sharp mind. We quite clearly are not the brains in this group. And there's only a group of 2. We don't know whether we're stronger than we look. We haven't taken any punishment. We do run pretty quickly. But maybe I've always been lucky. Let's see what he says to that.
I've always been pretty lucky.
I asked for your skills, boy. Right, last order of business. Make your mark or sign your name if you're actually literate.
Oh, our name? Please enter the name of this story's protagonist. Well, I've been thinking of a name, and, well, I was thinking of the first thing that we were called when we came into this game. The very first thing that somebody called us was Gremlin. But Gremlin isn't really a name, so we are simply going to be Grem. That's going to be our name. We're Grem now. We're going to take it as our own. Yes, fantastic. We're going to be Grem.
You know your letters, do you? We'll get some use out of you yet. All right, lad. Welcome to the Guard.
Yes!
I'm sure you heard about the monster sightings, so stay sharp out there. We're short-handed as it is, so be a good lad and try not to get killed on your first deployment. You can pick up your kit at reception. Standard issue guardsman armor and igniter. Kingdom property, so if you break it, it's coming out of your commission. On your way now. Up to. Next!
What a long line. Guess we've got no choice but to wait our turn. Okay. Well, this seems like a good point to take a break and to end our first episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribing, all the things that everyone else asks you to do, because, well, it really helps with the channel and it really helps on the first episode of a series, and it's the only time I'm going to ask, so thank you very much if you do that. But yes, we've joined the army. We have our royal person over here, who I'm sure we're going to become great friends with, and we've discovered a new world of increasing amounts of discrimination. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.